Hey guys, insight number 5. So we're in Alma 21, and I've combined it with 22 just to fit it in, and that 21's a little short, and it's almost the opposite of Ammon's interaction with Lamoni's wife, the queen. So Aaron and his brethren, they go in to teach the Lamanites, and these people are hard-hearted like you would not believe. It's really, really bad. And gets to 14, like it's just a really rough area. And they're not, they don't come and say, hey, this happened, what happened, and have this. No, they're immediately defensive and ugly about it and want to throw them in prison. And 14, you'll see those that were cast into prison suffered many things, and they were delivered by the hand of Lamoni and Ammon, and they were fed and clothed. So it gives you a brief rundown of what happened in that space. So it's just another flashback and the journeyings of some of Ammon's brothers. Chapter 22, from 14 through 23, it talks about how what happened at that rescue. So it sort of just ties in the two stories and builds it up a bit, that there's more churches built, and that the kingdom of Lamoni gets, Ammon preaches there, and everything's like, and they were zealous for keeping the commandments of God. It was a great place to live. But remember, King Lamoni's dad still wants the gospel preached to him. And Ammon's like, look, I'm actually quite busy here with the work. You go teach him. So they go off and teach. Aaron goes in to teach Lamoni's father about the creation, the fall of Adam, and the plan of redemption through Christ. So the whole lot. Now, he seems to approach this, perhaps with Ammon's advice. It seems the way, because he goes in the same thing. He goes in and he says, it came to pass this is in chapter 22, came to pass they went in with him unto the king's palace with his brethren, bowed himself before the king, said unto him, Behold, O king, we are the brethren of Ammon, whom thou hast delivered out of prison. And now, O king, if thou wilt spare our lives, we will be thy servants. It's a really fancy king way of saying, how can I help you? I'm here to serve. How can I help you? Go back to insight number 3 for the whole one. Insight number 2, actually, I think. She says, yes, insight number 2, if you want to learn more about that. And he says, I will not suffer that he says, the king says, arise, I will not suffer that they should be my servants, but I will insist that ye shall administer unto me, for I have been somewhat troubled in mind because of the generosity and the greatness of the words of thy brother Ammon. And I desire to know the cause why he has not come out of Midian with thee. Like, I want to know more what he was talking about, and he hasn't come. So why hasn't he come? What's going on? And, and Aaron's like, look, well, he's busy doing that. We've come to teach you. So there's some great verses in there to really look at. But chapter 22 is approaching an Ammon's way of how can I help? Let me serve. So how can we share the gospel and share Jesus more like Ammon? More like these guys do. How can we do that? There's some great verses in here, by the way. It is tender to be ministered to someone that you already love, and they already had this relationship. They had that. He knew about Ammon. He knew that like Lamoni, his son, was working with Ammon. So it was like, okay, I already know that. That's why it works better with missionary efforts if members are involved. If it's someone from your family, they already know you and trust you because you've got that relationship. We can go back again to Abish and her relationship with the queen and how that worked for the benefit of it, and how, again, Ammon working with King Lamoni worked really, really well. It just did. So, how can approaching an Ammon's way of how can I help you, that whole how can I help you, let me serve theory of doing it, how can we do that? Ammon's way of doing that. How can we share the gospel and share Jesus more like Ammon? How can we do those things with service to others? So many little ways. Again, the 99+1 that President Nelson has put out as a request for his birthday, great way. Social media can do things, dropping a card at someone's door. There's some really basic things. Messaging someone a scripture you like for the day. There's a ton of ways, and not just members, just everyone you meet. You can talk about more Jesus and more God and more gospel by love, share, and invite. So easy when you really break it down and look at it. And why does this way work more effectively? Why? because you're coming in with love, and people these days are craving it. They don't want the stress and the yelled at and the ugly. And you can say to them, hey, look, it's not actually going to make any of that go away, but it's going to really help you be able to deal with that. It's not going to suddenly give you a job. It's not going to suddenly be all the answers to all your problems. And a lot of people think it is and then get quite disillusioned when it isn't. What it is going to do is help you be better to deal with all of that. And even when this does not work, like even if you come in with love, share, and invite and it doesn't work, what are the results? You still go away happy and friends. You can still work together. You can invite them to a church activity and do that love, share, and invite, and they can say, oh, no, thanks. And you're like, oh, that's all right, maybe next time. And they're like, oh, okay then. And you can still work together because you're not pushing it on them. You're not forcing it on them. You are just loving them, sharing your experiences with them, and continue to lovingly invite them with caveats that allow them to say, no, not this time, because sometime they're going to say yes, and it's going to work for them. And it's just a matter of patience, and it might not be in this life. But hard-hearted, definitely these people were, and Ammon's approach, how can that make the difference? Think about that as you go about your ministering, as you go about your callings, your teaching, your interactions with youth, with everyday people. Ammon's approach, how does that work better? How can it work better for your family, for you, for your ward, for everything that you're dealing with? How does Ammon's approach of love, share, and invite, how can I help you? How does that work better? Have a think on that, and then what are the results? All right, great week this week, guys. Honestly, it's a powerhouse of a story. It's easy to read, has so much goodness in it, and if you've got any questions about how it all ties together, I honestly just absolutely ask me, ask other people that know the story well. But the Book of Mormon videos that are available for free on YouTube on the Book of Mormon channel, incredible. Really well done. Really great to show your primary class or your youth class or at home or both, right? Show the adult class. Why not, right? Could always do with a good video, except our chapel doesn't have one that works in the room that we're in, but that's okay. They just get colourful with telling the story. But most people know this one. But there's some great resources there that are already there. Again, the Come Find Me manual is where I teach from. I love what's put in there. I will word it differently and I'll pull from there, but that's exactly how we're supposed to use it. So if there's teaching tips you want, there's lots of resources out there, and sometimes it seems a bit too much, so please don't be overwhelmed. Just take what you can, look at it this week, and look at some of the different points we've pulled out and see if anything resonates with you. Anyway, have a great weekend, guys. I will see you next week. Stay safe out there. Bye.